Keeping a record of your customers is a very good thing. First of all, it gives you some sort of a security, and also it will give your own customers a way of actually being able to, once they have actually created an account with your store, to just come in there and they do not have to fill in all of their personal details every time they log in. So there's a menu here that's called customers, which will actually give you some sort of a, well, I like to call it like the address book. So all of the information about your customers will be stored here. And once you click on customers, so customers is actually located just below the orders, you'll be presented with this particular page. And like before, you'll have some information here about the customers. And well, I have 100 main customers. And moving to the right, I have the average age, orders per customer 0, newsletter registrations 2. So this will give you some information on the overall of your customers once they actually go ahead and register with your online e-commerce store. They will actually enter this information, so about their gender, about their age, and whether or not they would like to be registered for the newsletters. Okay, so this is all displayed here. Then we come to the list, and currently I have 3 customers, and those are my customers here. I can perform bulk actions. I can use one of these filters to search for my particular customer, and basically what's displayed here is their title, their name, first name, email, and the sales. So for example, John Peter has actually bought something for this many dollars. Their account is enabled. They have signed for the newsletter, and some opt, which we'll see what this opt means, is an option, is actually disabled here. So I can see when they have registered, when they actually last visited my page, and I have the 2 edit buttons here, the full edit and the small edit, where I can actually view or delete this particular customer. Alright, so there's the option here which will actually allow you to set the required fields for this section. So what this means is when the new customers go and actually register with your site, you can actually set some or all of your fields as required. So for example, for a new customer, you would most definitely like to know their email address and make this field a required field, but maybe you do not want them to actually enter, for example, their gender, and therefore you can unselect the gender field from the required fields. Okay, moving down the list, we'll come to the addresses, and here we'll pretty much find the same information as we had before, except we'll actually have the address, the zip code, the city, and the country for all of my customers, and the edit button as well. And I can always go ahead and add a new address, and by adding a new address, we're actually going to link that address to some particular customer. So for example, John here has 2 addresses. The first one is 16 Main Street, which is located in Paris, France, but this particular customer has also one more address, and I can go and add that new address and then link it to his account. Okay, then we have the groups option here. So basically you would go and create some sort of a group. By the default, you have the visitors, you have the guests, and you have the customers. And you can see that I have 3 groups here. By clicking on the big menu icon here, add new group, I can add a new group. So basically I'm creating almost a category for a product. So my product is the actual customer, and my category is actually the group. So I'm creating different products and putting them in different categories, or I'm actually creating different customers and putting them into different groups. So I think this is a very good way of actually, creating some different groups and whatnot, and putting those people and customers in those groups. Now this is important because, for example, if you have a returning customer that's always buying from you, so maybe you can give those people some sort of a discount. So for example, I don't know, 5% discount, and by the default you can set the attributes for that particular group to have 5% discount, and then you can add that particular customer to that group, and every time they purchase something, they'll have, for example, 5% off. And then you can have visitors, like in this case, which you would not allow those people to actually buy from your online site, but will actually direct them to actually go and register. Okay, moving into the shopping carts. As the name suggests, you'll have a shopping cart list here. Okay, so you have some information here. The first one is the conversion rate in the last 30 days. You have the abandoned carts, average order value, and then you have the net profit per visitor. You can export these carts, and once again you can install some of the recommended plugins. At the moment, as you can see, I have 9 shopping carts, and basically I have the IDs here. I have order IDs, the customer, the total value here, the courier. So basically this is how our product that we're selling is going to be delivered to this particular customer. We have the date, we have the online, and we can view this particular shopping cart, or we can actually go and delete it as well. Okay, so just opening one of these cards, you will actually see what it looks like. So basically you have the customer information here, order information, cart summary. So there's 2 products, each cost, the first one is costing €31.20, the second one is costing €19.68, and the quantity is 1. I have this many in stock, the total, and this is the total number, the total amount to actually be charged. Okay, and we'll have a look at those in one of the later tutorials where we actually spend more time in actually exploring the shopping cart. Alright, the option below this one is customer service, and basically this is where all of your communication with your customers will actually be stored. Pending discussion will have 0, average response time is 0.0 hours, and messages are 0. Okay, so webmaster, customer service, meaning of status. So we have open, close, pending. We have pending 1 and pending 2. We have some stats here explained. Okay, and then we have the actual list here. I do not have any messages from my customers, and basically those nothing is displayed here. Contact options, whether or not to actually allow contact options, so to contact me regarding whatever they want to actually ask me. Allow file uploading, yes or no, and the default message. So this is something that they're going to receive. Customer service options, you can actually go and input some of this. So you can input a URL of your IMAP server. You can insert the actual port, the user, password. Now the option to whether or not to delete the messages, to create threads, to actually go and have the IMAP options when it actually comes to. So basically this is a bit more advanced, and if you're not sure what all of this means, I would just strongly suggest leave it as it is, and we're probably going to go into more details of what this means in one of the actual later tutorials, as basically you'll be setting some of the certificates and options and SSLs and whatnot here. So this is a bit more advanced, and if you're not sure what you're doing, I would suggest leave it as it is, and you will still have your customers having some sort of a service options for your customers, and you will not actually change anything here. Okay, moving down, we'll come to the contacts. So basically these are the contacts regarding your online site. So we have the webmaster, and we have the customer service, and we have the email addresses and the descriptions. So if there's a technical problem, the webmaster will actually be contacted, and if there is some sort of a question about the product or an order, the customer service will be contacted. Once again, we can go and we can add new contacts, or we can edit the existing ones, or we can just go and delete the existing ones as well. Under the titles, basically when your customers sign in, they'll have an option to actually select their title or prefix. At the moment we have only Mr. and Miss, but we can actually add Mrs. and whatnot, and then we have their gender, male or female. We have the actual image, so the little icon. We have the edit option, the big edit and the small edit, which will actually allow you to delete your particular titles. Okay, so basically, as I said, this is a nice way of actually grouping all of your customers. Having a list like this will actually allow you to see, first of all, how many customers you have, how much money they are spending, and then you can create different groups and change this move these customers to many different groups, you have the option to actually change the actual titles, which we have seen in the last link here, and you can change the addresses, add more addresses to one particular person, to one particular contact, and this is a good way of actually keeping an eye on what's going on, and basically when the new customers sign in, they will actually be displayed here. So this is all on the customers, or as I like to call it, the address book, which gives you a bit more options, as we have seen when we actually moved into the customer service.